Are you really wanting to boost your self-esteem? Well, today I'm going to talk about why kindness is self-esteem. And if you stay until the very end, I have an extra point for you then as well. Now, if you are a man or know a man who would particularly benefit from listening to episodes on men's mental health and or men's growth, then check out my latest and new podcast linked in the show notes below. Now, this is about kindness, not just to others, but to yourself as well. And for me, I felt really good about myself and who I am when I've done both, when I've been kind to myself and I've been kind to other people. Taking that time out to do that has made me feel really good. Because when I've given to someone else, I felt really like I've got a purpose here, I matter, I'm making an impact on the world, and that makes me feel good about me rather than just being day to day, like thinking about purely about myself and just being here for survival, right? When I've really lived and acted on kindness, whether that's to myself or others, we're going to go into some practical tips on how you can really start implementing this. I've really felt like more purposeful in my life. And for me, kindness is about feeling like more purposeful and therefore feeling like you matter. And I know it can be really difficult, and I've certainly been there when I'm like, why should I be kind to so-and-so? Or why should I be kind to myself? I haven't done what I said I was going to do. Well, that just makes my relationship with myself or other people just worse, right? Even if it's just energetically, right? And that doesn't make me feel very good. And therefore, self-esteem for me is about how much I like myself, right? As I am, and feeling about myself, right? And without kindness, it's hard to really feel that for me. And I'll ask you this: if you're someone who is just like purely focused on survival, you're like, don't make time to be kind to yourself or other people. And I'm not talking about exhausting yourself and people pleasing. There's a line there. But like when it's just you're in your head and you're just going through the same day-to-day stuff, it probably doesn't feel very good. You probably don't feel very good about yourself either. Certainly been there many, many times. So let's talk about this, right? So the first thing I want to say is create a kindness menu, right? Create a kindness menu that you can do. Maybe it's like giving to charity, doing something for charity. It doesn't have to be for charity. Maybe it's just smiling at someone, saying good morning to someone. Maybe it's complimenting someone on social media or offline, right? Make a list of as many kind things as you can do. If you get really stuck, go on Google because it's got a lot of answers on there as well. And just create that kindness menu and have something to look at every single day. And then think of time. The second one is think of times when you've been kind to yourself and how did that feel? Maybe you gave yourself a treat. Maybe you gave yourself some more rest. Think of times when you've really been kind to yourself and then start really living them and because when you start feeling them, you'll be like, oh, I'm encouraged to be more kind to myself, right? And then the third one, think of times when you've received kindness from other people or you've been kind to other people. And really start reliving and feeling that very regularly. And I'd suggest writing it down as much as possible because when you write, you invite more of this stuff in. So think of times when you've really received that kindness in life and think about how good that feels. Now, the fourth one I want to add on is really about creating like boundaries to yourself, because sometimes we think, being kind means exhausting myself and pleasing other people. No, it does not. Right? Does it feel good when you get some credit or praise? Yeah, of course, right? And again, it's about not having that expectation there, right? Because expectations can lead to misery. So put some boundaries in, like the things you are going to do in your kindness menu. It kind of links to the first point, but I don't want to make it a separate one. Like, what is it like in your kindness menu? What are going to be your boundaries? Like, what is too much for you? Like, if you're like just trying to please everyone all day, that's probably exhausting. So make sure you have some guidelines in there, so things you can say yes and no to each day, because exhausting yourself, you're not going to be much use for you or others around you as well. Now, I've got a final point. Just before I get onto that, though, I want to mention that Again, if you want something particular on men's mental health, then you can check out my latest podcast linked in the show notes below. My final point really is to hang out with people or go to like places or communities where people are just being kind to one another. Why is that? Well, because we become the product of our environment. If we hang out with healthy people who work out and eat well, that's going to happen to us. We hang out with people who don't, who like shove loads of junk food in all the time and don't exercise. And again, this isn't about judgment. This is just about saying we adapt like to our surrounding environments. Well, the same is with people who like bitch and whine and complain. If you hang out with people like that all the time, it's going to rub off on you. Like I've even found that being a positive minded person, and when I thought it was, when I hang out with people who moan, they get fed up, they get angry all the time in like workplaces or careers, then actually that started rubbing off on me as well. But also the reverse is true. I remember going to an event earlier in this year in Atlanta, and I wasn't in my greatest place, but I went out and it's people positive, like driven entrepreneurs, really exciting, and like they were doing things to make their dreams happen, and that's like rubbing off on me as well. I felt really purpose driven, really excited, right? The same as if you hang out with people who are kind and generous and giving, it's going to rub off on you as well. So that is a real shortcut I found to feeling a lot more kind and generous as well. So that's what I got for you today. I appreciate you for being here. You'll improve your other people's lives by being the best you. And remember, you are in control of your own self-esteem and confidence.